Hello, Camel Moon. This is the second take of recording this because in the last one, neither myself nor Matt could get out our words. This isn't scripted, we just couldn't talk.
We had really bad mush mouth. I have no idea why.
It just came out of nowhere. Hello, Camel Moon. My name is Lee.
My name is Matt. Hello.
And this is Big Talk, caffeinated and opinionated, where two individuals, not individuals, talk about things that they don't really know much about, and we kind of try and puzzle through things and hopefully make it an enjoyable conversation. Last week we were talking about the meaning of life, weren't we, Matt? And I think we worked it out.
Well, we worked something out. Absolutely.
We worked out a framework. We worked out a framework for the meaning of life.
Yeah, well, we worked something out. This is the thing. We always work something out.
Yeah.
Whether it's useful or not to people, we work something out.
And isn't that good? Isn't that a good thing, you know?
I mean, it's better than nothing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's better than having absolutely nothing worked out.
Yeah. Well, maybe that would be perfect to have nothing worked out and you could just float around like a leaf on the breeze. I'll tell you for free, actually.
Yeah.
It gets you nowhere. I'm very good at winging it. But for doing that for 10 years, I could say that I haven't got a lot done. I probably would have got more done if I had a bit more of a plan, I would say.
Well, it's never too late to have a plan.
That's very true. Or to find meaning. Or to find meaning in life.
Or to find meaning.
And now we know what it is to find your own meaning. I can start in earnest, which is good. But I was thinking after we did that meaning of life episode, I thought about the actual sort of the core of that question being meaning, and how do we find that meaning? How do we sort of get up off our asses and find that meaning? Now, obviously, the quick answer is just get up off your ass, isn't it?
Sure, it's a start.
That's the quick way to it, isn't it? But then I would imagine there would be people that would say that's easy for you to say to anyone who said that to them.
Get up off your ass is like step zero.
Yeah, physically move yourself from a stationary point into such a way that you can act upon the world.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
So actually, let's talk a little bit about our meanings, or sort of like our basis of meaning. So now yours is much more well formed than mine is. So for everyone who doesn't know, Matt is a writer. Matt has wrote 3 stories at the moment. 2 fantasies. Well, actually, Matt's a writer, and Matt can tell you a little bit more about what he does.
Yeah. Well, I quite like being introduced, but no, I'll get into it. So, I have written 3 books thus far. One standalone science fiction book called Red Saints.
Love it.
Which is sort of a far future authoritarian libertarian struggle. It's basically a book with like I tried to write something where the main characters are both very unpleasant in their own ways,
and not easy to get behind,
at all. It's sort of like a crime thriller.
Yeah.
Set in their very far future with some political and religious underpinnings to it. And it's my most well-reviewed thing. And then the other thing I've been doing is as a fantasy series, which I've got 2 of a series of 4 thus far, which are Out of the Ashes and The Burning Plains, which are sort of epic fantasy, kind of rebellion stories, which are it's sort of taking your sort of standard setting, I suppose, of like a band of people a band of warriors trying to fight evil, and then making that kind of much more realistic and much more kind of
like a raw retelling, I would say.
Well, a little bit. It's making things. It's a bit like subverting tropes in a way, which is one of the things I like from things like Alien and things like Game of Thrones when it's done well. Is subverting. Like, you think that Ned Stark. Spoiler alert! You think Ned Stark's going to be the main character, and he is for he is for like 9 episodes, and then he's out of it. So it's kind of not subverting things to that degree, but subverting like what the good, like the good and evil. What is good and evil?
What does that mean? Yeah.
Why are people doing what they're doing? And just sort of trying to get somewhere that's not so black and white. Because I think black and white stuff is just boring.
And it happens more and more now, doesn't it? I mean, if any of you have come from YouTube and heard any of our other stuff before, we have a bit of a bone to pick with this sort of black and white world we live in at the moment, where everything is either good or evil or right or wrong, and sort of the complexity of life is sort of being sapped away by the commentators, isn't it? And it's just sort of dulled down a bit. So well,
the world it's simplifying things down. Here's the thing, right? It's simplifying things down and creating causes for people to sort of rally behind. And it's very manipulative. What you'll find is that it's very, very difficult to manipulate a person.
Oh,
it is
an individual.
Easy.
Yeah,
it's very, very easy to manipulate people on a large scale, and that's what's kind of happening. And I'm not okay with it.
I've said for a long, long time that I love people, I love individuals, but I hate the general public with a passion. and it's for that reason, because sort of as an amorphous group, we, even myself and yourself included, we can sort of get into this whole groupthink, scared, sort of herd kind of mentality, can't we? And that's where I see us breaking down a bit. But anyway, we're diverging already. So
we are a bit.
Matt is a writer. Good books. Have a look at them if you want. But more to the point.
Please do. Good God, please do.
Yeah, more to the point. That I would say that's kind of your, if not forever meaning, your present meaning in the world, to be a writer and bring these stories to the public.
I mean, I would say my goal is to be able to live off my writing. I think that would be my main goal. And I don't mean like I don't think fame necessarily is what I'm after.
No.
Just I want to be able to do what I love and make a living out of it.
Yeah. So where did you find this meaning then? Where did that come from? Because we're talking about meaning and sort of getting up and doing it. Where did that come from?
Storytelling or with books?
Well, is there?
Oh, well, we'll break it down. In both ways. So, I have no idea where my love of like storytelling came from. I've just always had it. It's been, I think, I just have I have a big imagination, and in a lot of ways, having a big imagination can really get in your way.
How so?
Because if you got your head in the clouds, it's not
right.
It's not on the world.
Sure.
Or it's not where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's been an issue I had for a long, long time. But I've always wanted to be a storyteller and tell stories and write. And that started off with me wanting to like do films, either acting or writing them. Moved away from acting because of university drama.
Yep.
Like university drama class, which was full of nepotism and brown nosing, which we've been in, which you can hear more about on our YouTube show.
Yeah.
Because I go into that a bit more.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was sort of wanting to write films and write TV. And that was the same. And I've not gotten into that so much. That, like, even on a micro level, that was very much who you fuck, what you do for people, how you network and things like that. And the thing is, like, networking is something I'm very, very slowly getting better at. But it's something that I have real trouble with. And the thing is, there's always that thing in your way. Because if you're writing for TV or writing for a movie or whatever, there's always that thing in your way, which is this thing isn't finished. The script is finished, but the story's not told. Yeah. Because it's not being sort of made, or it's not been greenlit by anybody. And then you sort of go, well, how can I take this story and have it told? Because I want it told. Well, I thought about a comic, and then I read into that a bit more, and people don't, in the comics industry, they don't give a shit if you're a good writer. Right. They like it if you're a good artist, but they don't give any of a shit if you're a good writer. Okay. So
that's bizarre.
I was like, okay. Yeah, well, it's a visual medium.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So I thought, well, okay, so comics are kind of out, because I'm not really an artist. No. In a visual sense. Yeah. So I was just like, well, let's write them as books. And the thing about writing a book is you have no constraints whatsoever. Like I mean, the constraints are sort of what you make them. I mean, your story has rules. It has to have some kind of rule to it.
Of course, yeah.
But conceptually, you can do whatever the hell you like. And there's no one saying, well, we don't have the budget for that.
Yeah.
It's like, a person's brain is the best visual effects studio ever, because people can visualize what you write. And I mean, I'd say it's taken a little while to get good at writing like a long form novel. And I've gone back to my first one a few times and tweaked it. I think the final tweak is now done. Okay. Like the final tweak to Out of the Ashes is now done. It just needs to actually, because my computer crapped out on me, so I actually need to update it, to update the manuscript. And it's just the odd word. Like I haven't changed the story so much. It's just sort of how it's told. Yeah. That changes slightly, and how the prose is sort of structured changes slightly. But I find myself creatively in probably the most productive and the happiest place I've been ever, I think.
That's beautiful.
And hopefully it'll carry on.
Yeah. Like what a beautiful thing to feel, though, right? Just being happy and creative and things like that. That seems to be like a good thing to feel, right? And
seeing results coming from it.
Yeah. So there's that feedback loop of what I'm doing is right. Well, not necessarily right, but it sort of confirms that what you're thinking is correct. Like I'm on the right path. You know?
Yeah, well, to a degree, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So your meaning then really isn't necessarily being a writer; it's being a storyteller. And this journey,
I suppose so,
has more been finding the correct medium in which to facilitate that dream.
Yeah, I would say that's the case. Yeah. How about yourself?
Well, that's a funny one, because when you were saying that, I mean, obviously we've been friends for 14. I met you 15 years. We've been together. So I've known you more longer than I haven't known you. That's an odd thought. That's an odd thought. But I've had a similar journey. I've always liked to tell stories. Always. I was very good at writing when I was younger. I also did the whole film, looking into that. Went to university for that. Did some stuff around that, but then realized it's really fucking hard to get into this. Is my energy sort of putting into this to even get to like an entry level? Is that going to be worth what I'll get out of it? At the same time, I was seeing my sister's ex-boyfriend like plug at this day in, day out for years, and he was relatively successful. He had a comedy channel on YouTube, and they did very well. And he's worked with Idris Elba for a sort of a project and things like that. He's done really well, but then I still see him sometimes, and he hasn't broken through. And maybe that's not what he wants. Maybe he's exactly where he wants to be. But I saw him working for free a lot of the time, and I'm like, is that going to be worth it for me?
I remember that channel was getting millions of views at one point.
It was very, very popular, and it even kind of set up a certain sort of meme set of videos, like a genre of comedy videos. It was called What Shit Uni Students Say, and there was a whole spate for about 18 months where people would do shit someone else says, like shit accountants say or something like that. And I saw them for about 18 months, and it was like, that came from him. He incredibly creative, incredibly intelligent. But I saw this guy like just work his ass off to do it. I'm not sure what he's doing now, because eventually he and my sister split up because he was spending too much time on that journey, which is a real shame. I keep in touch with him sometimes when I see him, because he's a great bloke. And I know they still talk as well. So there was no sort of real bad blood, but their lives were on the same path,
I would love to get him as a guest.
Yeah, that'd be good, actually. Yeah, I'll reach out to him. Fantastic guy. But yeah, so I saw that, and I'm thinking, do I want to go through that kind of trial as well? And I wasn't sort of rose tinted glasses where I thought whatever my life's vision is going to be easy. I knew that. And I knew that going in. Whatever you really want to do with your life, you're going to have to go through some struggle to get it. Nothing's going to be handed to you. And if it is handed to you, you're not going to know what you want to do with it.
I think the big thing that sort of turned me a little bit was the realization that it's not a sprint necessarily.
No,
like I think,
and it shouldn't be, should it? It shouldn't be either.
No, I don't think it. No. Like I wanted things. I found I was wanting things instantly. I was like, I want this now. I want this right now. I want to be like, in a year, I would like to be in a position where I'm like writing for a studio, and it's like it's sort of unrealistic, and for every no you get, you're set back, and it's like and then you sort of you kind of realize that you're looking at it wrong. It's like you're not looking at growing your own stuff, and getting it to a really good place and learning as you go. You want it instantly. It's like instant gratification, I think, is a lot of the reason why a lot of people are so unhappy.
And equally so unfulfilled as well.
Right. But that's the thing, you can get it though. You can get it so, like on Instagram, you can get it immediately. Like anything can go viral. You could have a meme that goes viral, and all of a sudden you've got more followers than you could ever dream of.
And I mean, if you want to make money, like just through Instagram, for example, three ways to do it. You buy from Alibaba, you get an Instagram influencer to to do a paid ad for it, which is about $500, I think, and then you can do some ads for it. You will make money from that. You will 100% make money from that. However, that's not meaning. You'll do that, and then because it's been so fast, you're probably going to come from that unfulfilled, spend all your money, and be in the same place that you were.
Yeah.
It can be very easy to make money. I've looked into it quite a bit when I've been poor, and but sort of looking at it, luckily, objectively, I think this isn't the way. This isn't going to, nourish me emotionally.
Yeah.
It will feed me. It will feed me physically, but other than that, it's probably not going to do very much. But anyway, so also wanted to be a storyteller. But then I saw that, had a bit of a crisis about that. So that would have been about 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I realised, I don't want to do this. Same time, going through a bit of sort of poor mental health over the past, really, probably about the past 10 years, really, sort of looking back on the whole journey now from about 10 years ago. Start getting into sort of, I went to therapy for that because I had a bit of a wobble when I was 25. Wanted to be this person that I wanted to be. That's a whole story for another time. But got a bit into self-improvement and personal development. I was like, I can get myself out of this. I can work on myself, and I can get there. So have been in that space for about 5 years now. And in the last 18 months, I've started coaching and mentoring people on, a variety of things. I've helped sort of people with their businesses, relationships, things like that. And then I realized what I really like doing with that is sharing stories. It's not telling stories that I want to do. It's sharing stories. I look back to when we would all go around your house on a Wednesday. So we had a day called Gaming Day, everyone. And we'd all go to Matt's house, play video games, do, general guy stuff. And then eventually
it was a sizable group as well.
It was. We were looking at about 12 people, something like that.
At its peak, there were about 12 people coming over.
And then eventually we started playing like tabletop role-playing games, didn't we? And I would run those. And again, creating the stories. But the bit that I liked the most was that we was telling like a collaborative story, weren't we? And then I was tasked with making a new game when Matt came back from China, and thought I'd make a new system for it. That took 5 years. But again,
I was in China, by the way.
Yeah,
I was in China at one point, at 2 points.
Yeah. But again, that's
to people who have no idea who I am, that came out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah. So me and Matt travel a lot.
China,
me and Matt travel a lot as well.
Prisoner.
Yeah. Me and Matt travel an awful lot. Have we said where we are on this platform?
Oh, I have no idea. We may have said it in the last one, but let's reiterate it.
Matt's in Japan. I'm in New Zealand at the moment. We're both from the UK. There we are. Reiterate.
Indeed.
So we travel an awful lot, and then I was tasked with coming up with a new story on Matt's return. And again, though, that was collaborative storytelling. That was sharing stories as well. We're all sort of telling different parts of it. So I guess, it seems as though it sort of is all based around stories as well. Thinking about it.
Yeah, I would say so. Well, stories are how stories are a big part of how you relay information, of how information passes from one person to the next.
Oh, of course, yeah.
There's a reason why particularly nowadays, there's so much about the narrative, the political narrative, the narrative of these people, and it's all about story, and it's all about who's the hero. Everyone's the hero of their own story.
Well, are they? Do all people think they are?
I think all people think they are, yeah.
I don't think they do.
Do you not?
No.
Do you think some people think they're the villain of their own story?
I think some people sometimes think they're part of someone else's story. I think, yes, sometimes people do think they're the villain of their story.
I imagine it must be a sad existence to think you're part of someone else's story.
I think it is, man. Yeah. I mean, that's what happens when you start, coaching and mentoring people. You get into the sad stories.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. I mean, here's the thing, like, thinking you're the villain of your story is, I mean, that's how you get a psychopath.
Mm-hmm. But
at least that's purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking you're like, at least that's obviously a awful purpose. But I don't know if you could turn someone like that around, but thinking that you're part of someone else's story and not your own, that's like, it's gross.
Yeah.
It's gross, man. It's like when I don't know if I ever took, like, there was a girl I was into once, and what really turned me off with her was when she was talking about what she wanted in a guy, and she was like, I just want someone to take care of me, and it made me throw up in my mouth.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, so what? Right, okay. Well, that's.
What are you going to bring to this partnership?
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it is interesting that we're both storytellers, and that might just be because we've hung around each other a lot. But then saying that, if we look at our whole friendship group, they're in vastly different fields. We have engineers, we have people in the financial sector.
We've got people who are just in retail.
Yeah.
I say just people who are in retail.
Yeah.
Like people with kids, people who don't have kids.
And then I guess, I mean, some of them look like they've sort of headed for their dream. And maybe all of them have. I don't know, because I don't think this is a question that's asked a lot, is it really?
I wouldn't say
what's your passion? We assume a lot of the time, especially because we're overloaded with information about people's lives, that people are living #their best life. And I would assume on the sort of the happiness that we see, not just from social media, but in person with individuals, you can gauge how happy they are, generally speaking. But it is bizarre, isn't it? We ask what everyone does, but we don't ask what they want to do. I ask a lot of people what they want to do when they grow up. I ask a lot of people what they want to do when they grow up, regardless of age. I don't ask them what they do. I ask them what they want to do when they grow up. Makes them laugh. Good icebreaker. But then we can actually talk about it. This concept, actually, this podcast concept actually came from another YouTube channel that I saw about 4 years ago, and this girl would go around the States and ask random people what they would do, what they wanted to do before they died, and then asked, and what if you were to die in sort of like, what if this was your last day on Earth? What would you do? And it sort of it inspired a lot of deep questions with these strangers, and I thought it was a fantastic thing that I started doing it in my own personal life, and then me and Matt started playing it when we were in a bar somewhere or just at home, and then it's transpired into this. But yeah, it's funny, isn't it? The questions we ask are not really that meaningful, really. What do you do? I work in a bank. What do you want to do? Even if it's still working in that bank, even if there's like a certain section of that bank that you want to work in, like financial fraud, and you want to catch the bad guys or something like that, or you want to be the best damn banker there is. It's a very different question, isn't it?
If you want to lead your field,
yeah,
or get out of it entirely. Did we ask Will that?
Why he is doing what he's doing?
Yeah.
No,
can't remember if we did.
I don't think we did.
We asked him a bunch of stuff.
We
got real deep with Will. That was a really good show.
And I think that's why it's kind of set us off on this tangent on Camel Moon, because I think we're thinking of sort of having a less tangential series than we do on YouTube, and try and sort of cover a narrower space for the first couple of episodes, aren't we?
Yeah.
But I don't think.
We'll probably branch. I mean, we'll probably branch out at some point, but for the moment,
there are a lot of questions to answer, Matt.
Yes, indeed.
There are a lot of questions to answer, and a lot of question spaces to cover. But I don't think we did. But again, Matt, Will, he also seems a bit like a storyteller.
Who, Will?
I can gather, yeah.
Well, yeah, I suppose he is, because he's got a lot of creative bits going on. Hello, Will. I know you're listening.
But it is interesting, very interesting that I said that it might be because we've hung around a lot. I'd be interested to know what our friends' thoughts. I thought we probably should have asked them before we did this show what they wanted to do. We should have done some research.
Well, we can do it in real time. We'll get them on.
Yeah. I think, are they waking up for work now?
Oh, I don't know.
They probably are.
Oh, they're probably
at work. They're probably at work. So, Matt, if you can tell us how to get up off our asses to become writers, I'm going to find out what people's dreams are.
Okay. We're going to find out in real time.
We're going to find out in real time, Matt.
And you want me to genuinely tell people how to be writers?
No, just how to get up off your ass and live your dream. Like what galvanized you? What inspired you?
Oh,
you know,
what inspired me? Oh man, I'm not entirely sure what inspired me. And I mean, I think it was just because I sort of try and I get inspired by quite a lot of things. Like it's either going to be by art of some description, or by what's happening in the world, or by people. I think what inspired the first sort of forays into the novels was our D&D sessions. Was our tabletop thing, because because that first book is not precisely I don't know how close it is. I don't know how close that first book is to our first adventure.
It's not
close-ish.
It's close-ish. It's not very close. I can see us in there. But even if in name only. And it sort of started like it, I think.
Well, some people completely tricked.
Kind
of.
I think it
served as inspiration,
like a bulb of inspiration, which has spawned a completely new story. I mean, need I remind you that we passed Sexy Island on an airship made from a kraken, and I don't remember that happening in Out of the Ashes.
Well, that's going to happen in book 3. Obviously.
In the third one, everyone goes to Sexy Island.
Yeah, that's chapter 32. We go to Sexy Island on an airship made of a kraken. Of course, you can't miss out Sexy Island. It's integral to the narrative,
into the whole thing,
integral to the plot. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
the whole story depends on Sexy Island.
Yeah.
But book 1 is, but book 2 is quite far removed. It's gone in a different direction.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it definitely served as a starting point. Because it's like, you get a long narrative with these characters all together, and they're growing, and you're like, let's take some characters and see how they grow. And I think that's the starting point. I think that's sort of the inspiration is characters. Because I think that's the best way to write anything is you start with your characters and then build the world around them.
Yeah.
Otherwise you can have a very rich world that's very
got bland,
very
vanilla
disconnected.
People
yeah, it was disconnected from the people in it. So that's what I've always tried to do then with when I'm writing anything now is like start with like Red Saints. Red Saints was kind of similar actually. It started off with not entirely, but it kind of started off from one of our sci-fi kind of tabletop things. And I had a character breakdown.
Thinking about it, no, I do know the one you're on about now. That was a fantasy one we did to test the system.
No, there was the no, it was the sci-fi one. It was where one of us, where like I wrote the where I had like the psycho character who was like a complete nutcase.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And our friend Carl had sort of this religious
zealot
warrior. Zealot kind of warrior. But his was a good. His was kind of like virtuous, like kind of a good guy.
Yeah.
And when I came to write that character, I was like, nah,
he's gone.
Let's make this something a bit more unpalatable.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's difficult to write. Actually, no, it's not. I find writing unpleasant characters really, really, really fun.
Yeah.
And a lot deeper than writing. I think it's almost easier to write a sympathetic, evil character than it is to write a hero in some respects.
Yeah.
Because you can go like, this person is bad because of all these things.
Yeah.
But they have this grain of something like humanity running through them.
Yeah. But how do you get off your arse and do it though, Matt? How do you get up off your arse and follow that dream?
You just... Oh, man. You just kind of... You just do it. Like, there's nothing... It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
You just get a pen, get a notebook, and start writing stuff. And what you write at first is going to suck. But objectively speaking, but just write the best thing. Just write stuff. Write ideas down. Take one that you like a lot, flesh it out a bit, flesh it out more. Work out what's going on in it. Work out who's in it. Why are things happening? Why do people do what they do? Flesh it out more. Keep fleshing it out until you've got something. And then write it. And then read it back and make it better. Then read it back again and make it better. Then give it to someone else to read. And see what they think. And make sure it's someone you trust who's not just going to tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
But also make sure it's not someone who's going to be a dick about it. It's difficult.
Needlessly. Yeah.
But harsh criticism in a way is like, the thing about criticism is it is helpful. You've got to kind of listen to it, take it on board, and be prepared to like act on it. Like, the hardest thing you'll do with anything you write is kill bits of it that you worked really hard on. Because, and if you're sort of switched on to your own work, you can know something's not working quickly, and you can cut it out before it gets too big and before it's anchored into too much.
Yeah.
But literally, the way you start is just do it. Because honestly, it's not that difficult to just get a pen and get some paper.
Mm-hmm. So while you've been saying all that, I've been mapping that to life.
Okay.
I've been trying to map it all to life, and it worked quite easily, actually, luckily. I'd be interested to see if we can do that with another thing. So what we do to find our meaning and get up off our arse and achieve that meaning is to start. That's number one. We need to start.
Yeah.
We need to work hard towards that goal. We need to share that goal with people that we trust, and people that we trust enough to have an objective view to say whether or not that goal is right or not. We also have to be strong enough to take that criticism, or equally disregard that criticism as well. Because I imagine some people aren't going to no one's going to understand your goal as much as you do. But equally you need to understand that goal enough to see that criticism as helpful for you as well.
Yeah. I'm gonna add another thing in.
Go
on. Have a plan.
Yeah, of course.
And that's something that might actually come later. Like when I started writing, I was writing very much off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And which is why my earlier work, like pre-novels, where my earlier work wasn't as good. And it's now much better because I plan it and I know where it's going.
Okay.
And I know what's going to happen. Like, so have a plan.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm actually quite interested in how well writing a story maps to like creating your hashtag best life. Because it is interesting, because effectively because you said we're the hero of our own story, and all of the things that you do as a writer is quite pertinent for sort of living a good life, isn't it? It's very interesting. Sort of cutting bad bits out of that, that book, or things that aren't as useful to that book, i.e. useful to your life, cutting those out is incredibly important in life. I've had to tell like lots and lots of clients, throughout the small time that I've done it, that there are things in their life that probably don't serve them. And they need to, forensically look at their life and take those things out. That might be, things in their life, whether it's bad habits, or it might be, it might even be people in their lives that need to cut out. If you've got like a negative person in your life that doesn't, if anything, they're hindering you, or, sort of taking away from your essence as a human being, you probably need to get rid of them.
Yeah. And that's going to be one of the toughest decisions you make.
One of the hardest things to do. But we will inevitably have to do that in our lives. Or we stay there and let that stagnate and become, venomous to us. And that's where the real pain starts.
Indeed.
If I went back to those 5 years, there was a few sort of, I wouldn't say toxic people, because I would imagine that I would be equally toxic to them.
Well, people who were enabling your toxicity.
Perhaps. Yeah. And it was sort of like this kind of like anti-symbiotic relationship where we weren't helping each other, we were just hindering each other and needed to get out of each other's way and probably never see each other again. But that took me about 9 months to work that out, and that was a lot of tears, and that was a lot of pain on both sides for me to work that out. This is fascinating. I was only using writing because it's you're my co-host, so I fire all you. But it's fascinating how well you can map writing a story to finding and executing on your meaning in life.
Indeed.
Very, very interesting. Can we here's how we prove. This is how we prove that this works. We have to put it on. We have to map it onto something else.
Okay.
Right. What's another meaning? What's something that you definitely wouldn't like to do as your meaning in life, but you could see how someone else would take meaning from that, and that would be a meaningful thing to do, for them to do with their lives?
Oh God.
Either something you don't want to do, or you just feel that you would be completely just wrong for that purpose.
I would be completely wrong for oh boy. Because I wouldn't be a good fit for something like an engineer or something technical.
Okay. Right, so let's go back through our points. I need to make some notes now. So what do we do to write a good story, Matt? We start.
Yep.
We start writing.
So as an engineer, maybe you start tinkering.
We work hard. We share vision, take/disregard feedback, know story well enough to know when that feedback is good enough or not. Well enough for a
for an engineer, for an engineer, a starting point might be finding something electrical and taking it apart.
Yeah.
And looking at the components.
Before we start, I've got seven quick steps to a perfect life, Matt.
Oh, okay.
So in book form, start writing, work hard, share the book, disregard feedback, know your story well enough to take or disregard that feedback, plan it out, and cut out like the bad content. So those are our 7 steps. So start writing, start tinkering. Yeah. Start understanding what it is to be an engineer. Because that was going to be like one of my, so when I didn't have a plan as well, sort of at the start of this 10 years of being a bit, messed up in the old Swiss cheese brain, there was 2 points where I could have entered into the engineering world. The first one was when I was going to join the army as a Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineer. And the second...
You were going to join the army?
I was going to join the army. I didn't know what to do once I finished GCSEs. Like when I finished sort of mandatory schooling, didn't know what to do. And I thought potentially joining the army would be a good idea. And I went in there, quickly worked out from the recruitment officer that I did not want to do that, and they phoned me up for another 6 months after that to see if I was going to join the army. I worked out that it was an infantry regiment that I was going to join. I was like, nah, I'm not frontline. Not a chance. I'm too scared to be doing that. And then the second point, because it partly came back that I was quite good at maths, as we both were, sort of top set in maths, nerds at maths. And quite good at science as well. So I thought, it's, good money and I'm good at it. So the second point that I was going to do, I was going to go to university to study it. I was going to study mechanical engineering. But because I wasn't as good in my physics at A level, I didn't get the grades for it. I needed to do an extra year at university to get that up to the grade that it wanted to be. And I was like, I'm not wasting a year doing that. So I bailed for a year and reevaluated my options. So there's been 2 points where I could have been an engineer.
Interesting.
So work hard. Again, you've got to work hard to be an engineer, because as I saw going to university, the grades need to be good.
Yeah.
Straight up. That's an academic subject right there. So,
it is, and from what it sounds like you were good at it, but you didn't have a passion for it.
No, absolutely not.
And in an ideal world, you're going to have a passion for the thing you want to do. In an ideal world, you're going to have a passion for a thing. Not even in an ideal world, it's just a fact of life that you're going to have a passion for the thing you want to do.
So, like, love the process. Of this thing. So that's step 8. Well, it's one of the steps. It's not necessarily the 8th step, but I've got 8 now. So share vision. Share your work. I mean, I guess so. I think for anything, as soon as you get to a professional level, your work has to be shared, doesn't it, in order to get recompensed for it, you know? Be that for just working for someone or yeah. Okay.
So talking of sharing work, today I decided, even though I don't have a laptop, I still have an iPad. And I sketched out a rough chapter 1 for that sci-fi book that I was telling you about.
Are you going to send it to me?
So I might send it to you if I can.
Please send it to me. I'm really excited for that one.
I will do.
I'm very, very excited for that one. So yeah, I act as Matt's proofreader on occasion.
Well, you will for this, absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, so that's sharing the vision and taking and disregarding feedback in Matt's world. I guess, for anything, you need to share that vision and you need to take and disregard feedback. You need to know when you're on the right path for something, especially in the professional sense. And you need to know when people are talking nonsense. You know, even when I've not been following a life vision and I've just sort of been in a boardroom somewhere having a meeting and I know that something's going to go wrong or that they want me to do something, I know on occasion I've had to go, that's not going to work. Because otherwise we're going to waste everyone's time, you know.
Can I tell you the most annoying one I ever got?
Go on.
And I think it's a valid one. It is a valid one, but this is the kind of thing you can get where it's valid, but it's not helpful. Really.
Right. Okay.
So on my first book, Out of the Ashes, I wrote the blurb for it, and I had the blurb done, and I put it on the book, and I showed people it, and it was okay. The book goes to print. Yeah. And so now I can't change it. And then my uncle reads it.
I remember this.
Like, this is the only, and this is a really annoying thing. This is the only bit of feedback I got from that uncle. Yeah. Which was, you've missed a comma in the blurb. Yeah. He didn't tell me where the comma was supposed to go. No. Even when I asked directly. Yeah. The subject was changed almost immediately. Right. And it's like, oh, so I don't know where so maybe you're full of shit. I don't know. Yeah. And I have no idea where that comma's supposed to go. Yeah. I have no idea to this day where that comma's supposed to go. And I'm worried about that comma. Yeah. I don't know where. Like, this is the thing, right? When you get someone who will say something, that could be a valid criticism, but I don't know if it is because I've had no one's elaborated on it at all. And it's very, very frustrating.
So that's interesting, isn't it? Because there's constructive criticism. So there's people that are trying to help you in life because that's, you find people that are like that. They're not, 100% behind your vision as you are, but people want to see, their friends and family succeed in certain ventures. And then you've got the people who want to watch the world burn and say that you'll never be able to do it. Especially when you're set out on your own, they're like, no, you'll never do it. It's really hard to set out on your own. I know. None of this is helpful. I know these things. And if anything, it's just all negative talk that I've been telling myself for months and years. I don't need you to reiterate it because now it's going to tell me that again. And then you've got sort of this third person in the middle who is constructive, but we're not even constructive, but they're not negative, but they're not helpful.
It's like nitpicky and it's like helpful, but nitpicky.
Like pedantic.
But that's a big deal.
A pedantic person. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've also got
the people who will sort of support you as much as they are comfortable with, and how much they're comfortable with is the bare minimum. Like I've had people like we've got our podcast, and I've been told this by my dad that there have been by family members have listened to the first episode, and then haven't listened to any more. Right. And it's just like, okay, so, and did you just listen to that first one because my dad was with you at the time?
Right.
What's the what is it? Like, is there anything you have to say or not? Is there a criticism? Is there none? Are you just, is it not your thing? I don't know. Like it's like radio silence.
Yeah. I don't know if my family watch it or not, actually.
I mean,
I've
it's up
never
to
asked.
you to ask them.
Yeah, I've never asked. But I think equally, I probably won't. I probably won't ask.
Yeah,
because
I think it's like an avenue to be disappointed.
Well, yeah, someone once said this to me, and it shocked me to begin with. And right, I'm going to get pessimistic, but I'm going to bring it back. Okay.
Okay.
That everyone will always disappoint you in the end. Right. As a trite, flippant comment, that sounds fucking horrible, doesn't it?
It sounds horrible.
Yeah.
And I think it's almost true, but I don't think it's completely true.
Yeah.
I think most people will disappoint you in the end, but there are a precious number that won't.
But I think not necessarily irrevocably let you down and disappoint you.
Oh no, yeah.
But
absolutely.
people will disappoint you, and I think that ties quite into that. No one's gonna get behind your vision more than you will. No one's gonna love you as much as you love yourself. So there's that to it. And the first time they said it, I was like, "Fuck, that's a bit dark." And then we discussed it. And I was like, "Yeah, no, I guess you're right. That there will be times that we will feel let down by someone, whether that's a guttural response to something. Some people will irrevocably let us down, and we'll never see them again. But other times, the impact of that letdownery, that's a word now, is
let down.
yeah, is something that we can get over quicker.
Yeah. It almost lessens the impact, and it makes it maybe it makes it easier to forgive when someone lets you down. If you know, look, no one's gonna bat 100%.
No.
You'd be lucky if anyone. If you're lucky, you'd be lucky if people bat above 50. You know, we are human beings and we are imperfect.
And that also means, though, that you need to bat above 50%.
Yeah.
If you're not batting above 50%, no one else is going to bat above 50 for you.
Well, here's the thing: like, even just attempt to bat above. You know what? Attempt to bat 80.
Yeah.
I think like attempting to bat 100 is maybe even attempt to bat 100, but like attempt to bat 100 and be aware that you might that you're not going to succeed every time.
Yeah, because perfection is impossible.
Yeah. Well, I mean because the thing is, people who are worth their salt as human beings will always appreciate the effort.
Yeah, I dig that. Yeah. This is good. I like this. Then plan your life. That's probably good, because otherwise you can float around waiting for a favourable breeze, and if that doesn't come, you look back in 20 years thinking, what the hell happened? And that would be a horrible place to be, I bet.
Yeah.
I look back on mine sometimes and I think, fuck, I have wasted time. But equally, I know that if I were to forensically look at that time, that I have grown immeasurably in those 10 years,
Yeah. I mean, I look at sort of, I did a master's degree. And I look at my post master's degree years. And I think, like, God, it could have been so much worse.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
because I post my master's degree, I sort of set off to other countries almost immediately.
Very quickly.
I think it was about 6 days after my graduation.
Yeah.
That I set off for the first time.
Yeah.
And come sort of August, come the end of August, is going to be the first time that I'm back
Properly.
That I'm back in the UK for an extended period.
Yeah.
So.
Because it's been sort of max about like 3 months, really, hasn't it? Not even that. I think it's been like about 2, hasn't it?
It's been somewhere between 2 and 3, I would say.
Yeah.
Usually the summer.
Yeah.
And that summer's always full of either some kind of work or writing a lot, or
or getting around all of the family as quickly as you can.
Yeah, that too. Too. And a lot of frivolity, a lot of wasting time.
Yeah, very true.
It is amazing how not having my laptop has made me more productive. Weirdly.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about wasting time, because obviously we've only got so much time in life. We've probably got more time than we did, 100 years ago. We were talking the other day about, how old we could possibly be and if we'd ever get to the moon. But we do waste a lot of time. Now, obviously, you can't be, crushing it, hustling it, rising, grinding it all the time. You will die quicker from that, Constant stress is a killer. There's no two ways about it. But yeah, how much time is enough time to waste,
Well, I mean, from my perspective,
because this is quite recently for you, isn't it?
Yeah, so my laptop crapped out on me, probably because I was downloading a lot of games off of I was off of disreputable means. In fact, it was actually the one that I think killed it was one I got off Steam. But yeah, before my laptop crapped out, I was probably up until about 4 a.m. playing video games.
Right.
On work nights.
Oh man. Okay.
So I was still getting up relatively early-ish. I was getting about like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours sleep, because I typically have to be in work at midday.
Okay.
So, but I wasn't obviously doing that. I wasn't writing as much, because what I typically do now is I get up early, write, then go to work, then come home and sort of veg.
Okay.
Until I sleep.
Mm-hmm.
What was happening when I had my laptop working was I would come home after work, play Oblivion or Fallout New Vegas or Icewind Dale was the most recent one.
Oh yeah.
Which I was really enjoying, but then my laptop expired.
Yeah.
And I'd be doing that until sort of 3:30, 4. Then I would sleep, get up probably about 10 o'clock-ish, and then I'd have to obviously travel to work, so I wouldn't have much time in the morning to do anything.
Sure.
And now that I don't have the gaming in the evening, I'll get home, maybe read a bit, go to sleep way earlier, wake up way earlier, write, then go to work. And it's a slightly better cycle than the one that I had prior.
And again, you said you felt happier for it as well, didn't you?
Yeah, much happier. I mean, well, I mentioned a moment ago the chapter of the sci-fi novel that I wanted to send you.
That's incredible, because we were originally talking about this, I think it was 2 weeks ago, after a previous podcast that we'd filmed. I think it might have actually been the Meaning of Life episode, and we was catching up after the show, as we always do. and you were talking about this new novel idea that you had, and I thought it was incredible. I was like, I give you full permission to write this now. Just fucking write it. And it was sort of in the nebulous conception stage at that point, wasn't it? And this was 2 weeks ago.
Well, kinda. This is the hardest thing I've ever tried to write. Like I've been trying to write it, I think, for about 2 years, and I like start writing it, and then I'm not happy with it, so I stop, and I sort of try and rejig it, and it's complicated because of what the idea is. It's kind of a very existential, kind of Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
This literally the scariest thing I've ever written.
Nice.
And it's not a horror.
Yeah.
So, and also it deals with a lot of sort of inner personal demons, you know.
Yeah.
So it's trying to tell it right. And I think after having my laptop crap out and talking to you about it, I hand wrote on A4, a 20-page treatment, chapter by chapter treatment of it. And I wrote the first chapter, like the first draft of the first chapter today.
Yeah. And
it's not a long chapter. It's quite short. The other chapters would be longer. But it's like first blood. You know what I mean?
Sit down, work hard.
Yeah.
First 2 bits done. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, like once you have that plan, it's like, bang, you can go for it.
Yeah.
Like I planned another one. I planned another fantasy story.
Yeah.
Not tied to my current series at all. Which I think, and I've got like the story mapped out for that entirely as well. And I'm mapping out the characters, and I'm mapping out the history of the characters. So, and that's one that's probably going to have to go on the back burner until like the current fantasy books are done.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just going to be I'll be putting them off too much, and I've got to finish them. Yeah.
It is incredible what a plan can do for you, though. Because I mean, as I said, I wing it. I've wung it, if you want, winged it. Most of my life for sort of the last 10 years, and it has been very kind to me. I must say, it has been very kind to me. Rose the ranks in different positions and made a sort of a good amount of money. By falling into
it suited your social skill set.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, but making a plan has been very good for me, and I've seen it more with like my clients as well. Like they'll have like this big grand plan in mind in what they want to do, but it's there's no plan behind it. And I would say in the same vein that there was like that some military like general once said that no plan survives contact with the enemy, does it?
Right. Yeah.
But having sort of like even like a guidepost to where you're going is incredibly important. Like you'll ask them what they want to do with that area of their life, and they don't really know. Like I want to be fit. Well, what does that look like to you? Well, I don't know. I want to work for myself. What does that? Doing what? How do you want to do this? There's no even hint of a plan. You can get through life quite easily winging it, but you're not. I was no sort of not really on course with like a life vision or anything like that. You can live quite comfortably winging it. You know, if you're dedicated enough to just going with the flow, you can do all right. But I think it's going to be very hard to execute on a life vision without a plan.
And the other thing to remember is that plans are inevitably going to change. Like, or they're going to adapt. Like I had this also today, or yesterday, last night, I think, when I was looking at, because I'm on my iPad now, which is a slightly different writing experience than on a laptop.
Sure.
But I had like notes about the ending of the fantasy series.
Right.
Like what's going to happen at the end, who's going to pop their clogs,
Yeah.
who's going, like, why are we here, what's happened?
Yeah.
And that's completely different now.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
I can take this bit, and then we're just going to have to sort of rejig the rest.
Yeah. Plans change because life changes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you have to be adaptable to some degree.
Mm. Fantastic.
And I think being adaptable is probably the most difficult thing. Like rolling with the punches.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah. Being adaptable in the face of adversity. Because it's easy to be adaptable when there's fortunate weather.
Yeah.
You've got a choice of two equally pleasant options, but when the cards have been dealt and it's looking a bit shifty, then it's harder to be adaptable, isn't it? And we get scared to divert course because all may be lost. At least that's what I've seen.
Indeed.
I'm fascinated by this book analogy. I really am. I didn't think about this before. I was just going to ask you how you got to where you were. But now we have. There's your plan, guys. Live your life like you're writing a book. Find a book on how to write good fiction. There is how to live your life vision. There we are. Interesting. I'm going to pick up a book on writing good fiction. I'm going to change the words book to life, and I'm going to make £1 million. I'm going to be a New York Times best-selling author by doing that. I'm sure of
it. Well, that's how they get on there. Usually, by doing shit like that.
Yeah. Fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sort of wondering how. I almost want to put that into practice. I almost want to actually get one of those books and see if it would fit. Because I feel like my method might fit, but I don't know if. But everyone's got a different method, I suppose.
Yeah, I think I've got a writing sci-fi and fantasy book at home.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I get back in 2 months, I'm going to pick that book up and see how it applies to sort of the practices that I engage with my clients, and see how close it is. Because Matt, I think we may have worked it out again. We're on a roll here, Matt. We're on a roll. Even if we don't, get our own life vision on track, I think we're gonna revolutionise the world. I'm sure of it. That's for sure.
Well, by practicing what we preach, maybe we will. Who knows?
And that's my thing, isn't it? Because we were talking when I came to visit you, and you were sort of thinking about what to do, and I was like, well, what does sort of like a perfect day look like for you? And we worked it out that basically going home was that, because there was like a comfy chair where you could write, there were friends around, there was a nice dog, and there was happiness around you. And I was like, that sounds like home to me. You can try and get that here, but it's equally at home. And then I'm out here in New Zealand, it's probably about 10 months since I've been away now. No, 9 months. And I'm thinking, I want to stay out here for the X amount of time till I'm 30, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hang on, you just gave Matt this advice and you're not living it. So that's one of my my cardinal sins as a coach. I don't normally look at my own coaching and do anything with it. But since that conversation and me looking at myself, I am starting to do it. So I'll be listening back to this and using it like a personal coaching session, I think. Well, I think I've worked out all I need to, Matt. I think I've worked out all I need to. Have you got anything else you want to say on this?
I mean, No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Right. So until next week, ladies and gentlemen, buy any book on writing fiction and see if that improves your life at all. If you change the word book, story, or narrative to life, and if anyone achieves their life vision, let us know, and we'll spread the word a little bit more.
Indeed.
Until then, if you haven't worked out your life vision, we'll try and make it as enjoyable next week or the next 2 weeks. 2 weeks in a fortnight.
Indeed, yeah.
I believe we're going up every fortnight, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll be back talking about equally big talk things and maybe going off on a tangent once or twice.
Indeed.
Yeah. Enjoy yourselves, guys.
Yeah. So yeah, if you like if you can tolerate our voices and our silly ideas, we're also on YouTube.
Oh yeah. If you would like to hear this on a weekly basis, if you can stand that, then you can find us there as well. But if not, we will be back in 2 weeks with you for something in this line of conversation. Have a nice week / fortnight, and we'll be back then.
See you later.
See you later. Bye.